Hello.
This is the greatest start to any podcast. I'm calling you not from San Francisco with my San Francisco background.
Oh, I was going to say, like, if you are in San Francisco, then you are nearby me. So we could say it's like a local podcast once again.
You know what's great is that I was in East Bay and I did the exodus to Florida.
Oh, I see. So
I'm part of the exodus. So we've got a lot to talk about. So listen, we're talking to a person who's big time on YouTube, creating such killer content. I think where I always want to start, right, and on my shows, is I always want to start right now with how the heck did you survive last year? Right? There was just a lot of tough stuff going on in San Francisco, self-isolation. You're generating a ton of content. So walk us through first how you survived last year, and then let's get into the show and what you do on your YouTube channel.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. With the pandemic and stuff, I feel like I was pretty lucky because I got to graduate from college, I think about 2 months before things actually got bad in the US. So I just sort of moved back in with my parents when things got bad. And actually, it was interesting because I made one YouTube video that was a data visualization of COVID cases. I wasn't an expert or anything, but for whatever reason, the video went viral. And so I felt like every few weeks I had to make an update to that video. So I was like paying attention to the numbers all the time. And people were asking, where's the update? You know, where's the line graph? I want to see how COVID's doing. But in terms of my personal life, I'm just lucky that I kind of live near my college. So I just moved back in with my parents.
Now let's tell us, what school are you going to?
So I went to Stanford for undergrad, and I guess I'm also doing a master's at Stanford. They have this program that makes it very easy to sort of transfer from undergrad to master's.
So now you have to go to that school and not be a founder. What do you think or change in the world? Where do you think you'll end up?
I've sort of seen a sneak peek into, you know, the tech bro hustle culture life, and I don't think I could do it like wholeheartedly. So I think part of me will always enjoy sort of the casual, more laid back stance of like being a YouTuber, because I don't have to follow a strict schedule. I don't have to necessarily like pull in big profits. If I just, you know, have a fun idea I want to try, I can work on it, and then I can take like a week off doing nothing. Like, I'm not looking to be Mark Zuckerberg or someone rich, I think.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hysterical. So now you're in school, just graduated. What do you want to do? Like, walk me through what's going on at being someone your age and stage in this world. Like, there's a lot, right? Like you said, you did not sign up for this kind of university education, right? So what is going on in your life?
I sort of feel like this is a very transitional moment that a lot of people have, you know, where you sort of leave college and then like the realization that there's no clear-cut path for you.
Yep.
Like, it sets in. Like, for me, like a couple of years ago, it was like pretty bad where I just felt very lost. And I felt like a lot of my classmates who went right into full-time jobs at Google, Facebook, Amazon, you know, all those companies, I sort of felt like I was almost jealous that they had a more clear plan. But at this point, I feel like my personality means like I'm always going to be hopping around from project to project. Like right now I'm working on this software that will automatically edit videos, but that might be like just a few months, maybe a year-long project. But, you know, next year, I don't know what I'll be doing, but it'll somehow be related to YouTube, somehow be related to tech and AI.
Is it fair to say like the whole YouTube experience now has changed a little bit of your career path and what things you want to build? Or did you always want to do video? Isn't that amazing?
I think like YouTube has like changed my entire outlook.
Sick.
I mean, I don't know if it's like that sick, because like one thing that I noticed about myself is like I always felt reluctant to write research papers for college because I didn't like the fact that only other researchers would be able to read the papers or understand the jargon. And I think like because I've been making YouTube videos for so long, I feel like I want my content to be seen by like hundreds of thousands of people in order for it to feel like it has value. It's kind of hard to sort of mix both the academic world and the kind of everybody world at once.
So when you're thinking about the content on YouTube, have you used video content now in your emails? Are you doing like, there's a lot of these Loom videos and sending people videos instead of emails? Where else are you including video in your life?
Well, definitely through calls like this one. Oh, actually, something new that just sort of started a few months ago is I started using video to live stream. Okay, this sounds very basic, and I know everyone does this at some point, but I was live streaming me playing games with some of my college friends.
Yeah.
And like, I realized if I didn't do that, that, I wouldn't have an excuse or reason to hang out with a lot of these friends anyway, because we don't share any classes together anymore. And like they work at companies that I've never even heard of. So if I don't say like, let's play Minecraft together, we might go like a year without talking. And to me, that just didn't feel worth it. Now I'm a gamer.
Sick. It's funny. I have a buddy of mine who was just during COVID just went on again on Twitch and just started posting ridiculous things and just coding. Like he would just start coding blindfolded. Now, is sponsored by Microsoft.
Oh, really?
This is such a crazy world. Everyone's looking for a creator or content or something.
Yeah.
It's insane. So now, again, he's home, got nothing to do. I'm going to code anyway. Let me just stream myself coding. Let me start blindfold code and just have fun for like 20 minutes. Now I'm sponsored.
He's like literally covering his eyes as he's coding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like next level. I sort of feel like I was talking with a friend about how coding is a very solitary action, and it's like not very fun for other people to watch. So I think like we both agreed that like, oh, I would like it if I could stream this and have other people watch, but I think that they wouldn't want to see me debugging for 10 hours. So I think you have to add that like blindfold element to make it exciting, I think.
Right. And now every big company wants to sponsor some type of creator. Everyone wants, and I think that's how you get your next job. Right? It's just like, how'd you get that job at Microsoft? It's like that. How'd you get that job at Uber? Well, they found me on Twitch. Like, you started going through like 17 interviews, but like that first interview was they found me. Like, that's important.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's such a different vibe when the company finds you versus if you apply to the company. Like when I was looking for my first internship a few years ago and I was applying to companies, I was creating a resume for myself, and I sort of felt like I wanted to include my YouTube projects on the resume, and then I sort of wanted to put like a little picture of what one of them was. But then experts were telling me you shouldn't have screenshots on your resume because it's unprofessional and all that. Right. But I just felt like that's the reason why, my content is different. Like I want to be able to show that off. So the internship I ended up going with was someone who had found me through the videos. And it's just a lot easier to sort of connect with the boss of the company.
Yeah, well, I think you bring a good point up. I mean, you want to stand out, but at the end of the day, at certain places, you need to be able to be found in the Oracle database.
Yeah.
So like, at the end of the day, it's not that your work is not great. It's not that we don't want to get to know you. It's just like Workday, or Oracle, they need to know how to catalog you because there's so much of that just about keyword SEO in your resume. So yeah, I mean, it's a really good point. I don't have an answer to it. I'm just saying, it's a good point.
Yeah, and I also just want to add on to that like I don't want to imply that, oh, I'm annoyed that people haven't watched my videos. Like I totally realize that for an outsider who's never stumbled upon them, it can just be sort of extra clutter on the resume that like they don't need to see, or it's like time consuming. So I guess what I would say is like when I realize someone has watched my videos in the past, that is a plus. But if they haven't, then it's just like neutral.
Are you moving out to like Clubhouse? Are you doing anything on TikTok or Clubhouse? How are you expanding the brand?
Okay, so I've thought about branching out to other platforms like TikTok or Twitch or whatever. I find that for me, okay, so I know that like diversification is good, but every time I try to go into a new platform, it's always the case that YouTube still has like the vast majority of my audience. So like I tried streaming on Twitch and I was getting like maybe 2% of the viewers that I would get streaming on YouTube. So I think it takes time to sort of let people know like, hey, you can find me on these other platforms. It's sort of delayed gratification.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, right? Because my main thing is a podcast. But I've been really enjoying being on Clubhouse because I'm able to have a lot more phone conversation and the two-way feedback. I've got to meet a lot more interesting people that I probably wouldn't have met. So I feel like I learn a lot, and then the people I network with, I probably would have never been able to network with them if it wasn't for Clubhouse. Now, I'm not doing it to get the big following yet, but again, it's been nice. It's been nice. Yeah. Because on YouTube, like you're just kind of talking and you're kind of maybe reading a live chat feed and maybe asking some questions and maybe you get excited. But yeah, it is kind of different just hearing it on audio. It's just different. And I also like how remote it is. Like we don't have to be in front of the perfect lighting. We don't have to share the screen. Like there's a lot of things you don't have to do on Clubhouse that we as broadcasters have to do on a podcast. I don't know, that's my rant. I didn't know if you had a thought of that.
Well, I agree that it's always annoying with the like live streaming that I'm the one talking and then the chat is just typing. And I always feel like it's not as
Right.
personal because like I don't know what their tone of voice is. And since there's so many of them, it's not like we're having a back to back. It's more like I notice what they say, respond to it, and then like it disappears in 2 seconds or something.
Right.
So, like, there's definitely
Exactly.
room for a platform where it's more conversational. And I mean, it sounds like Clubhouse checks that box for you. I should try it out more. I will admit that.
The first 2 weeks on Clubhouse until you get your following, it's okay. But once you start getting some good people to follow you, you really get into some pretty neat rooms.
Right.
And you're right. And then you get to meet a lot of good people. But you're right. Are you going to get the satisfaction of I had, 100,000 views? No. Like you're not going to get graded on views. You're going to get graded on how many people show up to listen to you talk. And is it 50? Is it 1,000? That to me is like pretty awesome to be able to speak in front of like 500 people who actually want to listen to what you're saying. I don't know. That's my rant.
Yeah, I definitely think that every social media platform is sort of scratching a slightly different itch because I will talk with real life friends on Facebook, and there's a lot of niche kind of hobby groups on Facebook I found. Like one of them is speed solving Rubik's Cubes.
I love that. Yeah.
That's like all on Facebook, and I post there a lot, but I'm not trying to get a big following. So the itch that Facebook is scratching is very different from YouTube. And if there's like a spectrum between like very close interpersonal and famous celebrities, I feel like it sounds like Clubhouse is sort of between Facebook and YouTube. And like Instagram might be like the full on celebrity. So
well, it's crazy. I'm in a Clubhouse room and there are like there's famous people in a room that I'm in and they're just talking. And I'm like, oh my God. I was just saying it's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, holy shit, I am in a room with like a rock star CEO that I've read about and I'm hearing his point of view on a question. And I'm like, if I got this close to this CEO and you're just learning, it's exciting. So yeah, I think you're right. The metrics for success is not views. The metric is, learning and networking. I mean, network. It's like you might have all these, not you, but like, let's say you have all these followers. Do you really know them? I'm not saying you know all your followers, but it's kind of cool. You get to hang out with some people that you might never have met.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like, if someone has like a really big following, some of them like try very hard to be more accessible and some of them try hard to not be accessible. And I think like when you look at some like a famous singer, like, I don't know, Ariana Grande or I don't know why, like you can't even imagine like speaking with her like at a dinner table because they're just so far above like the commoner people, I think. But when you join a sort of just a voice chat with a CEO or someone and you're just like talking.
And it's right. And they're not talking to Oprah Winfrey or Good Morning America. They're just talking to peers that are like, dude, what's your thoughts on NFTs? Or what are your thoughts on this? And all of a sudden you just get into a riff and they're just riffing and you're like, oh my God, I can understand why this guy's successful. I just love his point of view. I love how he frames the question. Like, it's really cool because you don't know where these conversations go versus, hey, we've got the CEO on for 5 minutes before the commercial break. So in 5 minutes, we're going to try to ask him 10 questions.
Right.
And he's going to stick to his talk track. So I think that's the things that I've really enjoyed is just getting into some of these conversations that you just unexpected. I don't know. That's my rant. You're a creator.
I think the word riff is like cool to use because like the idea is it's like unplanned and you don't know where the direction is going to go. Like when you were saying that, I was thinking about how like I saw this interview live. This was like years ago, like when Steve Wozniak was like sitting on stage with this interviewer and then everyone on the stage is listening and everyone in the stands. And like, they're all talking about tech and Apple and that's sort of the scheduled plan. But if you want to hear sort of someone like Steve Wozniak just talking about their opinions on random things, like maybe the favorite scissors brand, I'm like holding scissors right now. You might get that more from an unstructured conversation and that might help
Exactly. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
But then there's also some really bad rooms, meaning like you kind of go in a room and you're like, oh my God, this is just maybe not the right topic for me, or this is just wrong. But what's crazy is because of self-isolation and shelter in place, I feel like I'm using a lot more of that stuff instead of listening to like the radio. Like I'm either listening to my Spotify mix or I'm going to listen to like a live conversation. Then I'll listen to a podcast. Like that's how I have changed my audio habits. Like I'm on YouTube when I'm looking at tutorials or like end of day news.
Right.
I'm listening to Spotify when I'm cranking, or maybe now this live audio, but like that's how I'm consuming differently now. I don't know. That's what I've learned during self-isolation.
Yeah. And do you think that change was like sparked because, you couldn't have a conversation with someone at a restaurant or something?
Loneliness, boredom. I mean, yes.
I mean,
I'm home Friday night. Like I can only watch so much Netflix. Like,
True.
I don't know. Like, and you're home at these weird times. Like you're home from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock when you'd kind of be out, like forgetting about the after 9 o'clock crowd. Right. So it's like, how are you winding down? Because you're still going to work, but how do you wind down?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Like, and to me, I don't wind down listening to podcasts. To me, that's just not my wind down, but like the audio stuff is my wind down.
Right. That makes sense. Well, I think, humans are naturally social creatures, and it's like you want to, or sometimes I just think about how like 10,000 years ago, everyone lived in a tribe or something. If you're sort of getting ready for bed or something, but like you're still like chatting by the fire, or maybe I'm like fantasizing about what life was like back then, but it just felt a lot more communal and connected. And I think we're not programmed to be used to winding down alone every single day. Yeah. So I find myself on like Discord calls way more than I used to be.
I agree.
And it's like changing the language that people are even using.
No, I totally agree. What's interesting is it's not just about young people. Like, I think what's nice is everyone is changing, which is super nice, in the sense that, we've got all different generations picking this stuff up versus, oh, look at these high school kids. No, it's not high school kids. Now you got elementary kids learning Zoom. You got elementary kids to seniors learning, these big things. So I think I just like how everyone has upskilled their savviness, which is good. I think everyone needed to get a little bit more savvy. The young, the old, everybody needs to get it. So here's the thing. You're at Stanford. This is where you were, this is an exciting conversation. I missed my time, like being in San Francisco and even hanging out on campus, seeing this stuff. So let's find a way to like hack together, right? Because like you're onto something. I'm still learning different crafts. And I think we should just kind of stay close to each other. Like, we don't know. We have no idea we have no idea. So like, let's just stay close.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I mean, I heard you use the word hack, and like I'm just thinking, is this the sort of Mark Zuckerberg definition of hack, where it's like just build something really quickly, or are we talking about hacking into the mainframe and stealing passwords?
Right. No. Yeah, it's a third one. This is
a third one.
Yeah. This is there's the hack of breaking into something, right, and then there's the hack of coding. This is like we are gonna do something together. Let's just hang out and do a life hack.
A life hack. That's true. Yeah, that is a third definition.
Like I have no idea, but like I'm looking at a lot of stuff. You're looking at a lot of stuff. Let's just keep in touch.
Yeah.
We'll hack a relationship together. One day we'll meet in person. But like, I think you're onto something, and I want to stay close to you, and I hope you want to stay close to us. And let's figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, this really reminds me of like in 2017, I was making like a ton of AI animated videos.
Okay.
And like I made this one video of me in my bedroom, and I was saying like, I feel like I'm learning so much about neural networks, but I don't know anybody in the industry. And I know that like I'm getting like millions of views. So if you work in AI, like message me on Facebook and let's like get lunch together. And I actually like met like 3 or 4 cool people that way. I'm still in touch with like a few of them. So that sort of like thought process, we could do that too.
Say we'll hack together. Like this is how we work. Like this, we'll figure it out. Let's go build something. And that building something might just be building a relationship.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the show, man. And then bring me on your YouTube channel.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Let's kill that.
Like I want to make a lot more just casual videos of me like inviting people on. So
I'm in.
If you're down for that, then like I'll let you know how that would work.
Yeah. And listen, I'm going to be doing a live thing on Clubhouse. So I'll invite you to my live jam and let's just jam. And I don't know it. So let's learn together. So once I figure out my Clubhouse, you and I will do it together.
Okay. Yeah. I'll check out Clubhouse more.
Follow me at Darren Kaplan 500 and I'll follow you and we'll just keep learning.
Okay, cool. Well, you might be my first follower. So that's pretty cool. Pretty dope.
Got your back, baby. I got your back. All right.
Awesome.
Stay well and welcome to the show.
All right.
Brother.
See you later, Darren.